What's up, Internet? Last week on our special, magical, mystical cartridge of mystery, the CoolBoy 401 Real Game, we took a look at some cool things. Well, one cool thing and some other stuff I'd rather not talk about, but more importantly, we cleared page 8, which means we get to move on to page 9 with Star Luster. Yeah! Now this game actually reminds me of a game we covered a few weeks ago, except it's good. I don't remember what that game was called that we played previously, but this is a first-person flight sim set in space. And basically you hyperspace around, you shoot enemies, you recover stats and your energy and shields and stuff. It's just a fun little adventure. We'll just try and teleport over to E. As you can see in the corner, we have radar, we have communications, we have engines. They really wanted to try and make this a very sort of in-depth and interesting, like, space simulation of sorts. Also, that's an A-wing. That's an X-wing. Spoilers, there's a Death Star in here as well. This game really liked to be inspired by other IP's spaceship design. But it's not a bad little game. This is... I think I found it a little underwhelming, but for what it is and for a game you can find for like less than $1, you know, it's not bad. I've certainly seen less good games for more. There's the Death Star we have to blow up. And there we go. Now we have to get to another one. I believe B is bases, and we have to sort of protect them from the enemies. And as you saw when we started, there are different difficulty levels. And as the difficulty levels go up, there are more enemies, more bases, which means you have to spread yourself thinner and thinner. And I'm pretty sure this entire game actually runs in real time. Now, the nice thing is, if you get too damaged or whatever, you can actually go to a base, and you can heal yourself up and stuff, but at the same time, that gives the enemy the time they need to advance. Also, this was sort of a thing I had a problem with. Like, that triangle is supposed to be your viewfinder or whatever on the map down there. It doesn't really tell you where they are in relativity to you because it's a 2D representation of a 3D space. And I think I complained about that in my review as well. Like, it just doesn't convey as much information about where they are in relativity to you than you'd like. Because it does feel like they could just sort of give you like an arrow pointing up or down just to sort of give you an idea of where you need to go to see them. That was sort of why when you go and play an awesome flight sim called TIE Fighter, they actually give you two maps working in conjunction to sort of give you an idea of where they are in relativity to you. But unlike this, where it's a horizontal plane, those are two vertical planes showing you your view in front of you and your view behind you. But that said, it still worked quite excellently. Now I'll try and go to a base to heal up a little, I think. As I have a little bit of water and hit the table with my hand. Now I gotta go find the base, which should be right in front of us according to our viewfinder, but where is it? It's not exactly telling me things, game. Come on, where are you? Okay, forget it. We'll go find more enemies. And we'll blow up or something. But Star Luster. It's a great little cheap title that you can pick up for basically nothing. Which is good, because it's not necessarily the most engrossing game ever. It's definitely impressive for what they're giving you, but it feels like they could have done a few other tweaks to make it a really great game. Whoop. Over here. Whoa. Yeah. Okay, shoot the A-Wings. A-Wings were always the most frustrating thing the rebel scum ever made. They were so fast, they could hit you with missiles, and the only way you could really ever fight them in a dogfight was head-on, which was kind of awkward for ships that usually didn't have armor. Go play TIE Fighter, it's awesome. Okay. Next we have X's, which I believe is a shmup. Yeah, welcome to the most obnoxious sound ever put on the Famicom, by the way. I just feel like I shouldn't talk through any of this, just so you understand the majesty of this soundtrack to this game. It's so bad. That's not even like the Retron being terrible with audio. This game just has some of the worst sound on the system. Oh, I don't want to continue. Are you gonna make me? I think you are. Okay. Yes, I'd like to continue now, please. I'm pressing all the buttons. Let me continue. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard. And it's slowing down. It sounds like the audio's doing way more than it should be doing, and it's like canceling itself out in bits. And it's just chugging along, barely able to hold its own frame rate. Hey, at least we got an upgrade. That's nice. And of course the bullets all disappear, so it's hard. What? High point area. It feels like it's just trying to do too much, you know, like... Hey, a big strawberry. I need to get rid of these things just so that I can actively speed up the game to a decent pace and get rid of the flickering. I guess this is what they meant by high point area. Just collect all the strawberries from the skulls that you can't kill. And this is a thing. I don't know why this is a thing, but it is. And you know, if you look at it from the perspective of it being a shmup, it's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible, but it sounds terrible, it looks terrible, it does not hold a stable frame rate, which affects gameplay. And yet, it feels like they were actually trying to make something great here, and they just completely missed the mark. Oh. What am I supposed to... What am I supposed to do? You're sending me up against a wall of ordnance. Most of which is flashing, and I can't figure out where it is. Game. I'm done. I'm done with you. Okay, next we have Pac-Land, which is the game that features Pac-Man with a hat. Now, this game's a little weird because in order to move forward, you have to hold down the A button. And to jump, you have to press up. And then you run into a ghost flying a plane, because of course... Oh, if you press B, he runs backwards, because that makes sense. This game's actually pretty fun, though. And if you're familiar with Smash Bros., I believe there was an entire stage dedicated to this game for some baffling reason. Whoop. That said, it does control a little bit slippery. Like, he keeps walking after you stop telling him to walk, so... Precision platforming is not exactly a thing this game does well, but... Also break time, where I will take a sip of water. Because my throat is parched. He takes break time at church, evidently. Never pegged Pac-Man for the religious type. Now we're in the woods, jumping over logs. Because whimsy or something. But it's still conceptually the same, just avoid the, ghosts. And they're increasingly improbable flying machines. And, I mean, they're ghosts, why do they need them to begin with? Actually, I have a theory about this. They need the flying machines because if they don't, they are magnetically attached to the ground. Like in the original Pac-Man. There we go. That felt good. But, you know, it's definitely not classic Pac-Man, but I don't think that's really a problem. It's actually a pretty decent game. Simple, yeah, sure, but it's, you know, at least fun. Oh, now we're climbing a mountain. If I recall, we have to jump over a bridge that likes to... Yeah, do that. I'm surprised I managed to get over that. That was kind of shocking to me. I knew that was going to happen. I did not know I would actually make it across, so... It really felt like they were trying to evolve Pac-Man as a character, and I think they succeeded to a point. I mean, of course, I don't think many people remember Pac-Man wearing a hat and going to church and stuff, but, you know, the game's not bad. Whoa! I'm just gonna keep running. And we made it to Fairyland. Hooray! And I think that is actually the whole game right there. Now we have to go back. I do appreciate that they remixed the music, though. And now we have, like, super jumps, apparently. Oh well. Still, you know, that's a neat, different take on Pac-Man. Next we have Thexder. Holy crap, this thing has Thexder on it. Awesome. Now, Thexder was an awesome little game that, if I recall, the title screen featured Moonlight Sonata on the arcade on the PC. And that's how you lose at Thexder. Let's try again. But Thexder was a robot that transformed into a plane, evidently. And he also had an awesome homing laser. It's not quite as good as it was on the PC version. How do I activate transformations? Down. Okay. And if you like Thexder and you have access to the Famicom, you might want to look at the Zeta Gundam game, because it sort of half played like Thexder, which was genuinely fascinating to see. Now, this is not the best version of Thexder, of course. You want to play the PC version. And there was even a sequel on PS3 called Thexder Neo, which kind of worked. I don't think I liked it as much as classic Thexder, but Thexder's a fun game. Come on. Yeah, we're going up here. Now, one of the things about Thexder is you have to also manage your energy. Because he only has so much energy, and bad things happen if you run out of energy. Come on, Thexder. There we go. And now we have more energy. Now, maneuvering in this game is not exactly an art. It's more just sort of pray, because it's a little awkward, especially in these tight corridors, but it's Thexder, and Thexder's fun. Whoop, and up we go. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I remember the lasers being a lot more awesome on the PC version, where it was like a giant vectorized line that basically just automatically tracked your targets. And this kind of tracks your targets, but it just doesn't feel as accurate. It feels a little more random and less good. But Thexder is Thexder, and this is the only console version of Thexder. It was only made available in Japan. Well, I mean Thexder Neo, but classic Thexder anyway. This is it. That's the end of Chapter 1. Now we move on to Level 2. The Re-Thextering. Oh god. Run, Thexder. It's a fairly simple game, but it feels very creative at the same time. And, while maybe not the most deep or complex game, I think it works relatively well. That said, we are out of energy. Thexder, why have you forsaken us? Ah. Fun game, though. And finally we have Tower of Duraga. This game, I want to say, had, I want to say something like 100 floors or something crazy like that. Ow. Yeah. This game also got a prequel, which was Quest of Key, which was a platformer sort of variation of this. I gotta say, using the sword in this is a little awkward. Ah. Floor 1. We're so far away from the end of this game. We couldn't possibly be any further away either. And of course this, all the mazes and enemy layouts and everything in this game are randomized, as I understand it. Even your starting spot is random, which is a little awkward. But, it's a tough adventure, but it's a pretty good one. If you're interested in this. I find this game kind of boring, but, if you like this game, there's a lot of it, and, I think I saw a pirate version of this that replaced the main character with, oh no, with Cardcaptor Sakura. Continue at floor 1. Good job, game. Yeah, I think you only continue after, like, every set checkpoint number of floors. Or it was asking me which floor I wanted to start on. Either way, I don't really aspire to play more of this game, but, you know, it's not horrible. Very simple. And it's one of those Namco arcade games that's way too hard for its own good, but, you know, it's not bad. And considering that it got a sequel that plays completely differently, that in and of itself is pretty fascinating. And if you want to see something really interesting, you should try and watch the, like, 4 Game Center CX episodes where they tried to beat the sequel to this. It's genuinely fascinating to see a struggle of so many people trying to beat that game. Hey, floor 2. I remember this. Except I'm pretty sure the layout's different. Because last time the key wasn't right next to the door, if I recall. And also there were enemies between us and the door. And the key. But not anymore, and that's how you cheese this game. You hope that you get really lucky with RNG. Because randomness, it's the true path to victory. Sadness. And that was the first half of page 9. Let's just look at the games we got to play. Star Luster, pretty solid. You can get it really cheap as well, which is good because it's not the most advanced game ever, but it's pretty impressive all the same. Xdexes, it feels like it's trying to be something great, but is like the most obnoxious thing ever. Pac-Land, not bad, not bad. Thexder, well, it's the only console port of original Thexder, so I mean, if you like Thexder, that's good. And Tower of Duraga is okay, I guess. Now, looking back at these past 5 games, do I think they made this cartridge worth it? You know, yeah, because Pac-Land, Thexder, and Star Luster are pretty great in their own respects. Xdexis is kind of terrible, and Tower of Duraga is very niche, but it's not horrible or anything. Anyway, come back next week where we're going to take a look at number 96, Super Mario. Yeah. And probably get hit by a bunch of flags from Nintendo's copyright division. Probably from Germany, from my experience. But until next time, peace out, Internet.